Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, I want to give a pretty big warning out here to PlayStation 5 users, and I feel like everyone should know about this. Now, I just want to let people know, there's two options you could typically go and use with your PlayStation 5 console. And this has kind of been a somewhat skeptical thing, because people have asked Sony before, and there's even official record stating that either one should be fine. But this is actually coming out now from a proper repair tech who does a lot of repairs on consoles and works on this type of stuff. So this is not directly technically from Sony itself, but someone who deals with these issues and problems all the time. And now we're seeing pictures and basically internal consoles being ruined by some folks actually keeping their console up here on the vertical side. And this is kind of a concerning thing because obviously people don't know the difference. And I kind of want to spread this on out. So if you guys see this video or you find it helpful, feel free to go and share it or put it on Reddit or whatever, because I just want to make sure people don't destroy their consoles. And I myself, I have my console as well on the vertical situation right now, and I may want to go and adjust this. So let's go talk about this really big issue going on with their consoles, because this does seem like this is a wider spreader issue that may need to be addressed in a somewhat concerning way. And as well, if you guys are brand new, feel free to subscribe. We do talk a lot about console news and gaming news on the channel itself, or put on the notifications. We have the Twitter and Twitch stream, Amazon links down below. So obviously, I'm sure most of you guys know, but when it comes to consoles, you have the option, especially with the PlayStation 5, if you want to either do it on the vertical side or the horizontal side. And we've kind of seen this in press pictures from PlayStation themselves, from Sony themselves, and as well, I kind of assumed it just kind of depended on what you wanted to do. Like they literally give us a proper stand, which you guys can see right there in the console, so you would assume it'd be fine to go vertical or horizontal. But apparently this is not, well, true, at least from what we've had a chance to see so far from research. So we have now some articles over here that's going really viral from wololo.net discussing the fact that you could be literally destroying your PlayStation 5 by setting it perpetually in the vertical motion, and this is actually due to a huge design flaw by Sony, according to hardware experts. Now, we want to probably get an official response or have like someone from Sony go and address this, because some folks, like for me, I've been using my console for like 2 years and it does seem to be fine, but that doesn't mean that maybe like, because we've had 3 different iterations of consoles, but as well, it could maybe if you're a heavier user, it might be affecting you a little bit more heavily as well. So I just want to highlight this. So the PS5 is marked down as a device you can use as either horizontally or vertically. The console's so massive, finding a spot for it can be a puzzle on its own. And that's kind of why we always assumed you can maybe go either or. Because let's say you're on top of a desk and you have all this space for your console, or maybe you have like a little bit of like a, whatever the proper word for it is for like your TV, like entertainment system, where you have like this spot where you can kind of shove it into a nook and it's fine as long as you have proper airflow. So basically people have been assuming it's fine. And according to Sony, that has been true. But some hardware repair experts are now stating that using the PlayStation 5 vertically is a guaranteed recipe for disaster, and one that can literally go and destroy your console. This seems like a huge warning. So which is better for the PS5, vertical or horizontal? According to Sony officials and most technology websites, you can use your PlayStation 5 either or. And I myself, who've done a lot of these videos, I've done thousands of videos on these consoles, would probably still assume, yes, that seems fine. But the device has technically been designed for it, so it should be fine as long as Sony's cool with it. Evidently, it doesn't matter how you put your PlayStation 5, whether you put it in a horizontal position or a vertical position. The console will work the way it's supposed to. And according to Yashiro Ontorio from Sony Design Department, it doesn't matter how you choose to put that PS5, the stance, whether vertical or horizontal, won't affect the internal cooling. And obviously that's a big thing, because if you mess around with the cooling, that could destroy your CPUs, GPUs, the internal console itself, and it almost kind of looks like these things are actually melting the console as well. So 2 years into the console's life, hardware experts from console repair shops are now telling a different story. Because don't forget, these are the people who are actually working on the consoles that are not maybe from Sony themselves. So these are just normal general folks that see these issues happen more often than not. So according to 68 Logic, a PlayStation Scene member who owns a hardware repair shop in France since 2010, using your PS5s vertically can actually damage it permanently, and he's seen the results firsthand with his clients' consoles. So you have a chance to see these tweets, which are actually now kind of currently going, I would say, kind of viral, and probably go even more viral these next few days, saying do not put your PlayStation 5 upright. Here is the results, the liquid moves, and the freezes are there. I just want to remind you guys that these guys are also French too, just in case, because you can kind of go and see this, where it's like, I think the idea is, let's say you have like a liquid cooling system, it'll get hotter because you have to cool down the system itself, you know, it's like, so basically like soaks the heat away from it is kind of how that technically works. And then as it goes and you turn off the console or like you're done playing for the day, then you kind of have this weird solidification issue because it has to cool down and basically get locked on in. And this has been apparently destroying PlayStation 5 consoles. I wish I could somewhat explain a little bit better, but I'm not like the smartest person when it comes to this one. But we're seeing folks with this too, with other various options, which just is destroying like everything inside the console. I'm assuming that's the motherboard too, where just gunk is getting over the place as well. So it's saying like, does the liquid shift occurring the system is powered off or just while running? So it's whenever it's in execution. So like I said, you basically have to have these liquids moving to cool the console itself, and it's leading to a lot of these big issues as well. So they're also kind of assuming that this next iteration, PlayStation 5 Slim, will probably not have any issues, or as well, we do have like 3 different console iterations, as I've mentioned before. So as of this second, like it could maybe be like the first gen might have more issues, third gen might have more issues. We don't fully know as of now because these issues are just coming to light. And some people are also saying too is that like it's just not good. Like some people are saying, yeah, it's still been fine. Same with me, my console's been fine. But obviously, like if you get unlucky or maybe just different like weird maybe humidity or whatever it might be, there's gonna be a big issue too as well. So it's not going good. A lot of these people are saying, like, even for this one, yeah, there is no difference on these consoles itself from what they've seen when they're repairing so far, and it's just not good. So I'm kind of curious in this one because I think it's more of maybe just like a design flaw slash overleakage slash just like wear and tear on the console, but we expect these consoles to be lasting for multiple years. So all he says is the liquid metal used to cool the APU can then sometimes go and spill and then become uneven, which impacts at least the cooling. So Ben Manana, owner of a specialized repair shop, I Love My Console in France, has also been trying to go and bring this issue into attention for months. That's kind of why I almost feel like obligated to share this video and mention this video or even talk about this, because if people could potentially lose $500+, especially because if their console is out of warranty, PlayStation may not fix it. Like, we'd hope in good faith they would, for their consumers, if this is like a pretty widespread issue, but this is bad because it's like a 50-50. And I know a lot of people who have set up their consoles horizontally because in their opinion it looks a little bit nicer and takes up less space, at least more airspace, which that's why I do mine. He's saying that these are not isolated cases, and according to him, the risk is high for PlayStation 5s that have been standing vertically as well for a long time. And he says that all models are impacted, as we showed you guys in the tweet itself. So this is not just a one-time issue, this has been an ongoing issue for months, if not maybe years, and we might even see more widespread issues being caused by this, because obviously, like, if you're Sony, you can't go and test someone using your console for multiple hours for years. You probably maybe go and like leave a console on for a month and see what happens, or do it for like a month in general, like on-off usage, just to make sure it works, there's no long-standing issues, etc. Like, you just literally cannot test something for 3 years, and you also can't test things everywhere, where it's like maybe more humid, maybe you have like a less power. Like, there's so many random variables in everyone's home that it can be all over the place. As well as also sometimes new games come out, etc. Might run the consoles a hotter heat, like you just can't test for it. So according to him, the risk is high for PS5s that have been standing vertically for a long time. All models are impacted, and this also does include the digital console editions, as shown in the picture down below, because some people theorize that the vibrations from the Blu-ray drive can make this issue even more severe for your console itself. And we're like seeing this leakage and being destroyed, and like, it's just, this is not what you really want to go and see. So in theory, the liquid metal used to cool CPUs is not the problem. The cooling mechanism of the CPUs are so tightly pressed that nothing should spill or fall when the right amount is applied because of gravity alone, and this is where the generally is no concern with using the motherboard vertically, even if you're using liquid metal, although it appears in several cases have shown that the PS5 seal between the APU and its cooler can sometimes move or be damage. When in the case, if your PS5 sits horizontally, the liquid metal will stay flat and keep most of its thermal properties to help cool the PS5. But if it's vertical and something bad happens to the seal, then there's a risk that the liquid metal will progressively fall down, becoming uneven, and then also impacting the cooling ability, and also be reaching and seeking and leaking into other components that's kind of going on over there. So basically, what will actually happen with this issue and what happens when it moves? So there are 2 impacts from that liquid metal falling on a vertical PS5. Firstly, cooling will be impacted, and the PS5 APU can probably sustain a bit of heat, but this could also quickly lead to the following synopsis. Noisy PS5s, because the fans have to spin faster and are more often to compensate. more energy consumption, and possibly the console then just fully overheating, shutting down, and then as well with all these issues and normal wear and tear, kind of goes and takes down your console's lifespan. And then secondly, there have been several cases of liquid metal spilling into other parts of the motherboard and actually killing the machine and just breaking it completely offline because you get liquid metal that's warm into your motherboard. And even in consoles that have been like just casually sitting in the box unopened, and the liquid metal is highly conductive, and if it touches the wrong components, it could also lead to a short circuit too as well. So literally just any bit and piece can destroy this too. So there's been a lot of these things that are being highlighted over here, and even other YouTubers have also mentioned this too. And at the same time, I want to use my own platform to kind of go and show you guys more of this out here. So this is a big issue. There's issues with the seal between the APU, the cooling systems, and as well as this liquid metal spiraling out into these consoles on both cases. And apparently this is a huge issue, especially if you have your console in the horizontal position. So if you guys can, share this video around and put some attention on it, leave a like if you guys want to. Obviously for my own sell outside, sub if you guys want more follow-ups on the updates itself and general news, but let's keep that in mind. We have the Twitter and Twitch room down below, comment down below, and of course the Target Amazon links too. And I appreciate you guys all so much for watching here. Be careful with your consoles.